Hello everybody, friends, neighbors, and fight fans who watch from around the world on YouTube's Underground Boxing Network. This is Renegade Rousey and this is the Left Hook Boxing Show. The topic I want to talk about today is Fighter of the Decade. Mike Rosenthal from Ring Magazine recently wrote an article where he proclaimed Manny Pacquiao as Fighter of the Decade. I have no problem with that choice, with that selection. However, the decade is not over yet, and history has not totally been written. And what I want to do is I want to explore how this distinction possibly could change. And I want to look at three fighters here. I want to look, of course, at Manny Pacquiao. I want to look at Juan Manuel Marquez, and I want to look at Floyd Money Mayweather, Pretty Boy Floyd, and I want to show you, or at least explore the opportunity that this distinction could change based on some things, some fights that are going to take place in the very near future. First of all, let's look at Juan Manuel Marquez. Now, Juan Manuel Marquez is currently rated by Ring Magazine as the #2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he is due to fight Floyd Money Mayweather on July 18th. Floyd, of course, before his retirement was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And I asked you to consider this. If Juan Manuel Marquez is able to beat Mayweather, and then he is able to secure a fight with Pacquiao before the end of the year, and he is able to beat Pacquiao, who he's had 2 classic battles with, if he's able to come out with a victory, how could you deny him the distinction of Fighter of the Decade? I do not think you could. And there's a lot of this talk about Mayweather picking an opponent he felt like he could beat. And there's a lot of talk also about this whole little man scenario. And haven't you grown just a little bit tired of the little man scenario, saying that Marquez is the little man and Mayweather is the big man, and the big man is going to have the advantage and win the fight? Well, let's look at where we've heard this before. We heard this before with the fight between Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya. And what happened there? We know what happened there. Manny Pacquiao beat De La Hoya into submission. The little man won the victory, or so to speak. And then we heard it again when Manny Pacquiao fought Ricky Hatton. And we all know what happened there. A left hook put Hatton down. The little man took him out in the second round of that fight. And I'm just sick and tired of hearing this talk about the little man, because I am a little man myself, and power to the little man. And Marquez, like they say, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And Marquez is a pit bull, and he is a fighter. And if Floyd Money Mayweather does not bring his A game into this fight, then Marquez will beat him. Okay, now, let's go on to Floyd Mayweather. Now, Mayweather, his style necessarily is not appealing to all fight fans. He is a boxer. He uses the ring. He has great defense. And then he accumulates a lot of points with his jabs and combinations. And a lot of times, sometimes we don't like that. We like to see him stand in the middle ring and duke it out. And Mayweather doesn't oftentimes do that. But the guy is undefeated. And you cannot deny that. And if he is to go on and beat Marquez, and then he's able to beat Pacquiao, hopefully in a fight that will be secured after the fight with Marquez, if Mayweather is to beat Marquez, and then we get that fight that we all want to see, and if Mayweather is able to pull out the victory there, then I do not think you can deny Mayweather the title of Fighter of the Decade. He would be undefeated, and he would have defeated the #1 pound-for-pound in Pacquiao and the #2 in Marquez. And if he does that, how can you deny him the title of Fighter of the Decade? I don't think you can do it. And after that fight, The only fight I want to see Mayweather fight is the one with him and Sugar Shane Mosley. I hope we see that fight, because those two, I believe, have bad blood, and I think they would put on a show for the fight fans. So I hope to see that fight. Next. The next person I want to consider, of course, is Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. He is currently the pound-for-pound champion right now by Ring Magazine, and deservedly so. And in my opinion, as it stands right now, he's the fighter of the decade. All he has to do, in my opinion, is beat the winner of that Mayweather-Marquez fight. He fights that fight, and then as far as I'm concerned, he can retire. I'd like to see him fight some more fights, but the guy has put on a show for the fight fans throughout his career, and I don't want to see him get hurt. He's got other things beyond boxing that he's doing. Let him go enjoy those, but give us that fight, and then if he wins that fight, hey, he is crowned fighter of the decade. His legendary status is secured. Hall of Fame career, outstanding boxer, outstanding champion, and we will crown him fighter of the decade. Okay, that's what I have to say about that. Now, Boxing Underground, I hope that you will comment on this video, and make some of you who make videos of your own about this topic. I want to hear what you have to say about fighter of the decade. The voices of the underground need to be heard. You know, there's not a whole lot in the mainstream that information gets out on media these days. We got ESPN a little bit, and then we got, of course, Ring Magazine. But other than that, everything comes from the underground. And I think the underground collectively is making an impact on boxing and the popularity. I think people are out there watching some of the things that you guys are doing, and I think it's making an impact to bring boxing back to the forefront in popularity. And this is a great time for boxing. So keep up the good work, all you guys that make videos, and thanks for watching mine and for the comments that you do. Now, I got one last thing to say. I'm going to give a little review of a movie, and if you're a fight fan, you probably like action movies. And there was one I saw on Wednesday, and it was a movie called Taken, and it had a gentleman in there named Liam Neeson, I think. And hey, he gets my Renegades Certified Badass Award. If you haven't seen that movie and you like action flicks, see that movie. You'll enjoy it. Okay, for now, this is Renegade Rousey, and I'm out.